a regulated nervous system means we're able to recover back to baseline from our stressors, large, small, acute, chronic. And we're going to do this by activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for rest, digest, and repair. And we're going to do that using real-time, short, convenient, consistent daily practices. Okay. So we typically, they talk about weight loss and they talk about body composition, and they always say stress management. And we tend to think it's relaxation, which it is, avoidance of people or situations, right? So sometimes we're thinking we need the hours of yoga, massages, the spa, avoiding people and situations. So the spa is great for relaxation. We do need to set and enforce boundaries. That's crucial. But we're going to look at activating the parasympathetic on a daily basis, just in small doses throughout the day, because this is going to directly counteract that sympathetic fight, flight, or freeze drive that we tend to get stuck in. And just real simplified explanation, our nervous system consists of our autonomic nervous system, which is brain, spinal cord. So that includes sympathetic, fight, flight, or freeze. That's within our autonomic nervous system. It includes the parasympathetic, rest, digest, repair, rejuvenate, and our digestion, our organs. And then the second part of our nervous system is somatic. Those are things we can control, muscular movements. So those are the two branches of the nervous system. We're talking about the autonomic today, not the somatic. So to regulate, I'm gonna talk about three important things. Again, regulating the nervous system is very complex, but this is how we're gonna streamline it for our purposes today, just for our foundation. And then you can fine tune later. So we're gonna recognize that sympathetic drive, fight, flight, or freeze. What happens is it gets activated anytime there's a stressor, good, bad, physical, mental, emotional. So an example of a good stressor and a self-imposed stressor would be exercise or a self-imposed cold shower. Bad stressors, obviously things like traffic, hectic schedules, mean people, unexpected trauma. These stressors can be acute, like exercise, traffic, or chronic, mental, physical, emotional, chronic pain, hectic schedules, right? So sympathetic activation in the short term, our bodies were designed to be in the short term. It's good, it's protective, it mobilizes us, right? We need it. But what happens is we get stuck in a low-grade sympathetic drive. Long term, it's bad. It breaks down tissues, it elevates our blood sugar, keeps our blood pressure high. It results in a decreased or weakened immune system and just weakness physically overall. And we don't realize that we're stuck in this sympathetic activation because it's low grade. So it results, it affects your sleep quality. You tend to be inflamed. We tend to be inflamed. Probably we're undernourished, overfed. It's all common and quite normal today in our society and our culture. So what we're going to do to counteract this, since we can't avoid life, that's part of it, right? And we can't always go to like 2 hours of yoga or the spa every other day. So we're going to activate the parasympathetic. So this oversimplified would be conscious body scans throughout the day, noticing what feels tight, maybe consciously relaxing those areas, just taking a few seconds, reminding yourself, like so long as you're not in the middle of a car accident or a shark attack, we're reminding ourselves that we feel tight and tense, but we're in this moment, we're safe. Because that was designed for our ancestors to have to run away from a lion or go hunt a lion. But right now in this moment, we're activating that same system, but we're safe. So we're going to remind ourselves that that's a bottom-up approach, right? A body scan, top-down approach is reminding ourselves that we feel safe. We can't think ourselves out of this sympathetic activation. We're going to do breath work throughout the day. So when you're sitting at the traffic light, at the red light, you're just standing in line waiting. We're just going to take a notice to do a body scan. We're going to do breath work. So breath work, specifically making the exhalation longer than the inhalation. That forces your parasympathetic to activate. We're going to notice somebody coined the term glimmers. So it's very small, positive, free moments throughout the day that are soothing or beautiful. They bring us sprinkles of joy. And sometimes we miss it, right? Because we're so busy. So sunset, fragrances, for me, it's my dog, connecting with a friend, just taking a few moments to really appreciate that. And you recognize that it's spirituality and connection to a higher power. Do that throughout the day, right? Some people it's prayer, meditation. I don't have other than yoga and sometimes forced NSDR, which is like a type of meditation. I don't have a good meditation routine but that is beneficial. It activates your parasympathetic. Stuff like humming, singing, activates that vagal tone, good for activating parasympathetic, right? We want to return from the stressor back to baseline because we're going to experience the stressor no matter what. And it's the ability to return back to baseline and kind of get that cortisol back to baseline. So humming, singing, listening to calming music, consciously doing these short, convenient practices to just keep activating that parasympathetic. So we're trying to cancel out that sympathetic. And then the third piece of this regulation would be practicing helpful versus unhelpful coping. So when a negative stressor occurs, like work schedules, overwhelm, how do we cope? Do we eat cookies? Do we snap at our partner or kids? Could we switch that coping to maybe pray, call a friend, take 90 seconds, set a timer, ride out that emotion? I don't know. So I talk to my dog. So that is a helpful versus unhelpful coping, right? It's common, to eat, because that's a self-soothing, right? But it's not necessarily helpful. And then we're going to practice proactive versus reactive coping, noticing patterns where maybe there's some known stressors that are going to come up, PMS, tax season, holiday season. How can we support ourselves with proactive coping? Stocking up on healthy snacks, consciously declining invitations to things. All of that stuff is proactive. So we're going to look at how we've been coping. We're going to take notice of it, and then we're going to switch it when we can to more helpful things. So